Okay, in the Chi Gerk, remember that your opponent is facing you. We're using this line, and you're in Hao Mao, which is the posture with your feet facing on about a 45. Right now, my back foot and my front foot are too far off. I want them really on a 45. This line here we're going to use as a guide. If I'm over here and my opponent is facing me, which is what Chi Gerk has done, then my opponent should be a little bit on this side of my foot. Now, when he faces me, note where his foot goes. That's just a hair further than I'm looking for, but here we're ankle joint to ankle joint. Both feet are on a 45, but our hips are facing each other. And that's what makes it a little difficult. Pan up a little so you catch the hips a little. Our hips are facing each other. His hips are actually off. He needs to bring his hips a little more this way. And in Chi Gerk, it's a struggle. We're both fighting for position. It's a little more difficult even than an actual application. And it's not easy, but it's necessary. We've touched each other's shoulders. Our hands are crossed. That's good. And now we're in this position with our hips facing each other. If I turn my hips off, it makes me weak and easy for him to take the center line. What we're going to do is going to be almost exactly like in Chi Sao, except with the legs. So now we've got our positioning. And if I come over here too much and bring his foot too far over, then he's going to have to actually shift a little bit. And we're going to be doing a lot of that kind of thing, fighting for space. Now, when we come up together, see I'm turned off? That's no good. He's taking my center line from me. So when we come up together, we want to try to hold the center line, and he wants to race down to the floor and beat me, really. But the Sihain or the Sifu is going to initiate the movements, at least initially. So we have to stay bent like this, because otherwise, we go up here and then we straighten up. Now he can break my knee. I have to keep it here. And if we do a Chi Gerk movement, come up here and I come down here, I put my knee in front of his and he lets it go straight, then he's going to get a broken knee. But if he pushes in on me and I let my knee go straight, it's the same thing. So I have to keep my weight back here, which is very difficult, and he pushes in on me, I have to keep this thing bent. I must keep my knee bent as he pushes in. I must keep it bent. Otherwise, he'll break it. So he comes in, I catch him, I want to try to do something. He didn't really come forward, didn't give me much, so I just stayed with him, came down to where I was comfortable, my knee's still bent, my hips are still facing him, touched his hands. Now here's where the Chi Sao happens. Chi Sao does not happen here, where we are not touching. You see how his foot's forward? That's going to hit me in the groin. Even if I turn off, there's still a possibility of the action. I want to face him, and when he comes up, boom, I want to be there with my knee coming across my center line just a hair to protect me. And now I'm in Chi Gerk, whether it starts further away or whether it happened unexpectedly, where somebody just brought their knee up. You have to always be able to bring your knee across to protect your center line. So here we are, and we're playing Chi Sao too. So we're caught here, and it could be end up, we're fighting like that. And I'm changing my feet in order to respond to where he is as we're moving back and forth in this struggle, because he's not just letting me hit him. Like, I want to just hit him, but he won't let me because his Kung Fu's too good. So I'm working my way, and he backs up, and I'm watching my knees. I have to control with my knees, keep the knee bent. Can't have this facing over here and this across to where I'm unsteady. I can't have him facing this way because it turns my hips off. I have to have this, and I have to have the sensitivity and training to be able to feel what he's doing, and boom, he's going to come up. And I have to be able to feel, I have to know what to do. He's going to push hard and make me run, It's like I caught it for a second. He pushed, I caught it, I might have come here, boom. I'm ready to bring this knee forward, but either way, I have to be able to stop his knee from hitting my groin. I don't like this posture, but it's okay. And I'm going to strike if he'll let me, and if not, we're going to make a little more room. And there's my knee, ready to go. His leg is ready to go. I try to come up, he stops me. We go down, he comes in, he's coming. Boy, look at that, I had to change. I'm not where I want to be for Chi Gerk, but I'm double weighted, but my feet are facing the right way and their knees are bent. Very important, my hips are facing forward. Two things can happen from here. Either A, he doesn't move, in which case I simply do this, just like I'm walking. Or he pushes in further, and now I'm bringing it back like a reverse walk.
I'm trying to come in and make sure that I'm not out here. And that's my Chi Gerk going again. And I'm going to try and hit him in the groin. Boom. He stopped me. I better not hit myself. Boom. I strike. And I come in while his foot can't do anything. So this is the play. And so we're going to practice it, even whether we're in this posture or this posture. Where we're here, up we go, and down. He tries to beat me to the floor. So here we're going to meet. Boom. Come down. I like my posture. His hips are turned off. That means he's not going to be as effective, and he's going to be kind of unstable. I may simply move in this way. Boom, like that while I'm trying to strike him to keep him from being on. But he's going to walk in here, and where I am, I'm still safe, but I decided to run. Now, if he doesn't bring his knee in, he gets it in the groin. When he does, I step in. Look, he changed feet. He's now got his foot on the outside of my foot, which means he must bring his knee in when we come up. Now, I could do it this way, or I could do it this way. Doesn't matter. And kick him there if he lets me. So if your feet are too close together, you can get kicked. Okay, this is not comprehensive. This is just a Chi Gerk lesson with a bunch of kind of valuable practical application stuff that you can sort through. But it tells us how to conform to what Chi Gerk is able to do to keep it strong, to make sure that we're feeling what's going on, so I know whether to run or not. He comes in and kicks. Boom, I caught it. See how I try to pull him out a little? If he'll stay with me. Now, if I try to pull him, I pull too hard, he just runs. Now he's inside. He's actually standing on my foot, which is not good for me. Because what it means is I can't kick him with this one because he's going to put pressure on me, push, and he's got my foot. So I have to yank my foot out from under his if I can get it, if he hasn't already finished me. So that's another thing, is watch out for the guy who really knows how to step in and on your foot. Because right now, I'll stand on both of his feet. And have you ever seen tracheotomy done with just the open hand? That's enough for now. Okay, so here is a relative beginner with an advanced student. And if you noticed, the student on the left, his heel is just behind his own knee, which would be very easy for the advanced student to push in on him. Whereas the advanced student has got his feet at an equal distance from his body. The other thing that you'll notice is that their ankle joints are not touching one another. Now they're adjusting that I'm saying this, but the ankle joints were not touching one another, in which case you have nothing. So here you saw what happened. He pushed forward a little bit, the advanced student, and the other student's foot went right behind his knee and caused him to have to step back because he couldn't maintain control from there. So there is a distancing that's very important here. Now we're still not looking at ankle external malleolus, which is the bump on the outside of your ankle. They're not facing each other. They are now. And you also see that it's tight quarters. Very hard to keep their hips facing each other and to share that. But if you put down a staff and you went right between their feet in a line, then you can see they're both in Hao-Mao. They're both doing a nice job from there. And the student on my left is, when he puts his knee down, he's kind of getting his knee almost straight, which means that the other student is simply just steps forward, bends his knee into the knee, catches the back of his foot and straightens it, which would break his knee. So that's very, very difficult. So this is how hard it is in the beginning, in particular, when you do these Chi Gerk exercises. Change feet, let's go. So here we go. How well do you step in? How long does it take? What's your contact like? All these things have to become second nature. And we see again that front leg there was pretty straight. So anyway, there's a little bit of tedious practice that's involved here. That's what's required when we do the Chi Gerk. Okay, and just even though he's not as much up to it, Paul, I want you to just push a little bit and cause him to run. Don't knock him out of his stance. There you go. And now we just change the sides. He had to adjust his stance. He had to adjust his stance. And now you see inside to inside, which means their knees need to go toward their own groin. And you see that when they're doing that, they're losing the contact. And that just means that somebody's gonna end up taking control. So it's a neutral position, just like when you do Chi Sao, to where you make that contact like you do with a fook. We'll do just a little bit more for them that have really long attention spans. Okay, so the senior student is going up, the other student is following. It's not easy to keep that ankle-to-ankle contact. However, I did this when I treated horses, put my ankle against their ankle, which is their fetlock joint, and while I was working on them, when they would bring their knee up thinking they wanted to kick me or just fidget, my ankle would automatically go with them with my eyes closed, and we would return to the ground together. I never got stepped on, I never got kicked, and if they tried to kick, I did what he did. I unseated him, I gave him a push, and then we started all over again.
Definitely work out.
So I just want to point out that this ankle-to-ankle contact is a little bit like with the fook. You have this fook here, that's fine. The way I like to do the fook is I like to catch it right here, which is essentially like ankle bone to ankle bone kind of. So I want to catch it here. If I go like that, I don't have control and he's inside and I can fight him. Maybe his elbow will come up and he'll still come in. And there's a lot of possibilities. Even without this hand, his elbow comes up, he's still controlling me and he comes. It's the same way with the feet. If this control is lost, I either have to have taken it in the center line, or if he just pushes past me, but he's still controlling my arm one way or the other. So this point here, it's really important. When we play the Chi Sao, we're here, one up, one down. We're here. And if he wants to come in, go ahead and come in. See, I'm controlling that center line. I stayed on the center line and took him off. Or if it goes, he comes in, up, I'm not controlling the center line. I didn't control his arm, and he's in. It's the same thing with the legs. The other guy, bring it down. The other guy comes in here. Use the other one, please. He comes in here, and if he doesn't stay with me this way, then that's what he's going to get. Or if he doesn't stay with me, boom, that's what he's going to get. So we have to learn to control the ankle joints and the legs the same way that we control the hands. And when the fight starts, it starts this way. If we go, boom, something's going to happen here. Look where I am. I picked him up. I caught it. I brought him where I wanted, but look at that. I had to slide my other foot forward so I didn't end up out here. I kept my knee bent because it's so important. Why? Ding, he steps forward. I'm in trouble. I must have absolute control so that even if he does step forward, he jams me forward. I have to go like that. I can't do this. If I can step out of it, that's fine. But now as I do this, he may get into kicking me in the groin there. So I have to maybe, when I'm in here and then he jams me, I may have to do that. Step back and pick it up. Then I can try and do what I want. He didn't control my ankle joint. So now he's going to try to make up for it, just like a bad Chi Sao. He's going to try and make up for it with his knee, and I'm probably going to get a chance to get his leg. So anyway, control, 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 sensitivity, contact, connection, following these principles and parameters, not having your hips off, not being across your center line, not being too far this way, not being straight forward, all of those things. But it's actually quite simple. Sounds very complicated. The end.